911, what's your emergency? 911, what's your emergency?
Be advised, Car 4 has control of the pursuit. Proceed with caution.
Hey, everybody. How are you all? It's good to see you. So had a I've had an interesting few days with um personal stuff, just lot going on in my life right now. One of my very dearest and closest friends was diagnosed with breast cancer about a month and a half ago, and she's having surgery on the 7th of October. She's having a double mastectomy, and I am going to be caring for her immediately after her surgery. She lives alone. She's unmarried. And so her son and his wife live in Texas. And so she doesn't have a lot of support, lots of friends and stuff. And so I've been really super busy I put together a meal train for her, and I've just been trying to get a lot of things in order, helping her prepare for this surgery and the upcoming battle that she is going to be going through with chemo and everything. So that has been going on. Plus, I am still trying to navigate my whole scenario with Loki. And, for those of you who have never rescued a dog before, head on over to my other channel, which is on the screen in front of you as Kristen the Twisted Hippie, and check out my video that I uploaded today. It talks a little bit about what's been going on with him, because I've been getting a lot of questions about that. Hold on a second, you guys. Hang on one second. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry, guys. I had to fix that. And then, yeah, there's just been a lot going on, but I'm really happy to be here with you all. We're going to talk about Delphi and the upcoming trial that is fast approaching. And hi, Mustang. Good to see you. So glad you're here. Jinx, thank you so much for being here and taking care of me, dealing with everything behind the scenes while I'm live. I appreciate you so very much. Hi, CJK. Hey, Joe Mosier. How are you? And Cecil Hotel. Good to see you as well. And my good friend John Francis here. Nana 73. Good to see you as well. Phil Bond, how are you doing? Good to have you with me. Let's see who else is here. Hi, Gibbo. How are you? Thank you for being here. Hi, Rescue. How are you, my friend? Gosh, I could use you about now with Loki. I'm having some real issues with him. But yeah, I was thinking about you today. I almost called you. Hey, Shadowbox. So good to see you. So good to see you. I hope things are going well for you, my dear. Hi, Salty Beach. Hey, Susie. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Hi, Mitzi Scott. How are you? Good to see you. So good to see you guys. Hey, Boston. How are you? Yeah, there's been a lot going on, CJK. Hey, Annabelle. How are you? Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. She is like a sister to me, and yeah, I really appreciate it. It's Cecil, thank you. It's like I told her when I was talking to her on the phone today. When I love 150%. So that's just who I am. And I'm a loyal to the nth degree. So just who I am. But thank you guys so much. Oh, John, I'm really sorry to hear about Buddy. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm really, really, really glad that you adopted again. And man, my hat goes off to you because you adopted too. I'm just like, wow, that's a lot. Hey, Robin, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Priscilla, how are you? I love it when we all can get together and just kind of share what's been going on. And huskies are notorious escape artists, although he hasn't tried to escape from me yet. That's not my issue. My issue with him is mouthing really, really badly and biting, like not knowing, like the whole mouthing, biting, and then jumping on me. Those are my biggest problems that I'm having with him. And it's been I can't say anything other than it's been hell on wheels for the last 10 days or so. The last 3 days we've not been able to be outdoors, like walking outside, because it's been raining here. But I've been taking him to, like, we went to Home Depot and a few different times. I've taken him shopping at a few stores with me. So we're still getting in our exercise. We're still getting out and doing things. So that's been good. So yeah, guys, as you guys all well know, since I was on with Frank Meister, we have a motion from the defense, and the motion is asking the court to allow the jury to visit the crime scene in Delphi. They want the jurors to have access to the old CPS building site, which, again, the CPS building is gone. It was torn down. So the site is still there. I mean, you can still see where it was, but the building's not there. And then to see the Freedom Bridge, the trail itself, and then the Monon High Bridge. And they also are requesting that the jurors be allowed to visit the actual crime scene where the girls were found. And so we are waiting to find out what Judge Fran Gull is going to say about that. Hey, Mama Wolverine, how are you? It's real interesting to me because, it's kind of like I said the other night, it kind of surprises me that the defense, or it surprised me that the defense were the ones that put forth this motion. And, Richard Allen has been accused of committing this crime and unliving Abby Williams and Liberty German back in February of 2017. He was arrested on October the 26th of 2022, and he's been charged with their murders. And the motion was filed on Monday asking for the jury to be taken there. And they also reportedly want them to see where the location where Richard Allen supposedly parked between 1:30 p.m. and 4 p.m. the day the girls went missing. And according to the filing, the locations are less than 2 miles from the Carroll County Courthouse in Delphi. And the attorneys claim or argue that the transportation and viewing could easily be completed in under 90 minutes. I'm not so sure that I agree with that, but we'll see what the court says. Jury selection is scheduled to begin on October 15th, and that will happen in Allen County. Once the jury has been seated, the jury will be sequestered, and they will be brought by bus to Delphi for the start of the trial and opening statements, which are slated to begin on October 18th. So that's pretty much where we are with that. I mean, for me, and if I was a juror sitting on this case, I would want to see the location. Again, as a person who's been there a couple of times now, I can tell you that you get a completely different perspective when you're looking at that bridge. And especially if you take the trail and go down to the creek. If you take the trail and walk down to the creek and look up at that bridge, it is so large and looming and scary, and you just get all of these different emotions about it. It just makes you feel completely different than when you are being told about what happened or looking at pictures. I mean, I think we all have been told, and we could all attest to the fact that pictures never do things justice. I mean, for me, when I first went to the Grand Canyon for the first time after I was married and we moved to Arizona, you know, I had seen photographs of the Grand Canyon and whatnot, but it doesn't do it justice until you see it in person. Hey, Frank Meister, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Olivia, too. So yeah, I mean, it's just better, in my opinion, that they do get to see it in person and have a better understanding. Hey, Joe, I do believe, in my opinion, that the reason that the defense is pushing for this is because they want to be able to poke holes in the narrative and theory that the prosecution is going to put forth with their evidence as to why Richard Allen is the guy. They're going to talk about him being there. They're going to talk about him being the guy in Libby's video, and they want to poke holes in that, and really put out there that, you know, could one person really have done this in the amount of time that was allotted? I really think that they're not going to be able to do much with it, but that's just me. But you know, time will tell. We'll see how well their arguments are, and we'll see what they have in store for us with that, with those arguments. Hey, Jamie. I definitely agree with Frank Meister that there's no way that Fran Gull is going to allow the jury to go to the actual crime scene. I just don't see that. It's really not the safest place to get to. Now, again, if they can go down Ron Logan's property and go down, maybe. But if they were to have to go from the actual trail to the crime scene, no, I just don't see that happening. We know that Ron Logan's son has put up a fence. It's just not as easy to get to, you know, as some people think it is. As far as that whole narrative about Richard Allen being feeble and unable to be the guy because he's too little and, he's too weak and all of these other things. He wasn't that back in 2017. If you take a look at the video out there of him playing pool and dancing around the pool table and singing and being crazy, and look at the photographs of him hiking with his wife, they like to go hiking, and that was posted a lot on her social media. This is a guy who was very comfortable being outside in nature, and that doesn't fly with me either. As far as the Scarlet Letter, as far as the protection of the jurors, I feel that they will be able to protect them. It'll be a no-fly zone. They won't allow drones to fly over the area, and they'll have plenty of state police, local sheriff, deputies, and if they have to call in other counties for help as well, they will. That place will be cordoned off when the jury is allowed there, and nobody will be able to get in there. And that's just my opinion on how they'll take care of that. I think it'll be very safe. Whether or not Judge Gull allows Richard Allen to attend, that will remain to be seen. However, it is his constitutional right to be there if the jurors get to go. So we'll just have to wait and see. I do think that there's an argument, and it'll be interesting to see how Nick McClellan feels about this, because I think that he will obviously want the jury to be able to see all of this as well. Yes, the alternates will go. Everyone will go. It is a costly field trip. Absolutely. It's going to cost a lot. And, it's, again, when you go to the location and you go to that area, it's very remote. It's very isolated. We're talking about Delphi, which is a little town of less than 3,000 people. This isn't a big metropolitan area. Now, when people converge on it, and if you've got all of the press and you've got all of the looky-lookers who want to be there to see what's happening or interject themselves into it and cause an issue, then that will be something. But yeah, no matter what, this trial is costing a lot. And this whole case is costing a lot. And that's another thing within itself. Again, that's why a lot of these cases they try to get them to resolve without going to court, because it's so cost prohibitive. The longer a case goes on, the longer. I mean, I go back to, can you honestly imagine the amount of money that the Kristen Smart case cost that county in San Luis Obispo? I mean, seriously, you guys, that county, I mean, I haven't researched it, but that case took almost 25 years to resolve. So you can only imagine how much money was spent, because even though it could be said that things were, there were years where things weren't happening, that's not really true. There were things happening all the time, and they were still investigating. And, they had to travel to Southern California because their suspect moved there and moved from Northern California to Southern California. And so they were having to follow him and investigate what was going on there. These cases are expensive. I really think that that's one reason why the bridge was redone, um, was because they were preparing for the fact that there was going to be a trial, and the possibility of jurors coming out there to see the crime scene. And that was another thing, Stephanie, that bothered me. Um, yeah, Jinx, if you want to, you know what to do with that situation. I'm just going to say, they left a really nasty comment on my video, about me. So if you want to boot them, I'm completely comfortable with that. I deleted their comment, but I didn't hide them from the channel. But if they're going to cause issues and be in here, just get rid of them. So I have no use for that. And you guys all know that. Hey, Tech Deaf, how are you, my dear? Had the best conversation with you today. Absolutely the best. But yeah, I think that in my opinion, I think that they should be allowed to go. I think they should be allowed to stand on the bridge, walk the trail, and see it. I think it'll give them a better understanding of what evidence is being shown to them. But we are getting down to the wire. We only have, what is it? I'm trying to do this, the math in my head, but we've got, let's see, today's the 24th, so we have about 20 days. 20 days. Thanks, Frank. 20 days until it's time for the jury selection in this case. And it's really hard for me to even sometimes wrap my head around that it's only 20 days. I mean, we're talking 3 weeks, you guys, 3 weeks. And it's going to go by really, really fast. I still say, I keep getting emails. I'm getting them right now as I'm sitting here. Emails coming in about whether or not I think the trial will go forward. And at this point right now, I really do believe that the trial is, I really do believe that it's going to go forward. I do believe, hey, Sharon, how are you? Good to see you. I do believe, yeah, well, they're Scarlet Letter, they're always like a day late and a dollar short, right? It's like they ask for things and we're like, why didn't they ask for these things a long time ago? Why do they wait until the last minute? Well, we know that she threw a wrench into their entire defense when she denied their ability to talk about the Odinists and the whole Odinism theory. So, and most of their filings are press releases, in my opinion. Most of what they put forth in motions has more to do with trying to influence social media and the people in the public than it does anything else. Ouch. So there, the case is coming to an end, you guys. The case is going to come to a point where we're going to know real soon whether or not Richard Allen is going to face life in prison or not. And, you know, if he is ultimately found guilty, which I do believe he will be, then, you know, we can absolutely guarantee that they will file an appeal. Yeah, it's not so much accusing others, Stephanie. I agree with what you're saying and I understand what you're saying, but it's more rather than just accusing them, you have to have evidence. And they have no evidence of anyone else being there that day. No one saw anyone else. Nothing, you know, there's nothing out there. There's no evidence of that. And I think that that's what the biggest thing was for me with what the defense was trying to do. And what they did to Patrick Westphal and what they did to Brad Holder and all the others was ludicrous. No one should have their life dragged through the mud like that and be accused in court filings of a double murder of two teenagers when there's no evidence that you were even there. And I had a conversation 2 years ago, almost 2.5 now, with Maria, you guys, True Crime Maria. 2.5 years ago, we talked at length about the fact what was going to happen when Bridge Guy was caught. What did we see in the Delphi community happening once Bridge Guy was apprehended? And we both said at that time that there would be an entire group or faction, whatever you want to call it, of people that would still not believe whoever they charged with the crime did it. And the reason being because there were so many people that were so willing to die on a hill for their person of interest. And if it didn't match the person that they thought it should, they weren't going to believe it. And in this day and age, with all the conspiracy theorists out there and the people who, you know, buy into all of that, I mean, really, you know, I was floored when these attorneys basically came out and said, if there's anybody out there that has anything they want to share with us or help us, you know, I just have never heard attorneys go on the wire like that live on television and basically ask social media, you know what I mean, to help. Hey Nana, thank you so much for your super sticker. I so appreciate you. Thank you so very much. I just think it's crazy. And they did that. You know, they went out there and they said it, and we all know that there's crazy people on social media. We know that there are people out there on social media that have nothing better to do than sit there and create havoc, and around this case for sure. I've always been told that it doesn't matter what case you're covering or what case you're following on social, you're going to have that. But this case just seemed to be over and above for me and over the top. I mean, we had YouTubers that were inserting themselves actually into this case, and the defense was welcoming it. Now we have people out there that may end up actually being charged with a crime when this is all said and done. Because you guys mark my words, the state can still bring charges of obstruction of justice or for case interference for some of these people. You know, I mean, it's just, there's there's just no call for it. And some of those people have suddenly gone completely silent. We don't hear about them. And I think it's because law enforcement put the kibosh on them and basically told them. And I do believe that there's 4 that I can think of right now that come to mind that may find themselves in a world of hurt when this is all said and done. And there's a couple of them that I really believe deserve it. Salty Beach, that's really, really interesting because to me, that is integrity of a defense attorney. The Alec Baldwin prosecutor, Erlinda Johnson, saying that as a defense attorney, she would never consider presenting anything that wasn't factual or provable. I think there's ethics in this scenario that have been overlooked by this defense team. And they've done a lot of unethical things. They've done a lot of things that have been you could kind of consider, really stepping over the line. Again, I go back to that first Faxx motion and over and over and over again, how they described the death of Abby. They didn't need to do that. And it was all to gain sympathy and shock. They did it for like a shock kind of value. And I do believe that we have a really good judge in this case. I know that there are a lot of people out there that don't like her, but I do. And I think that Judge Gull has done a really, really good job at trying to tamp down the crazy that these attorneys have tried to bring into this case. And, not only did they do the first Faxx motion, but they continued to do, the Faxx motion over and over and over. And when I was talking to my friend, the judge, my friend who is a judge, he and I have had numerous conversations about this case. And he's even surprised. He's like, where did the defense attorneys come from? Who are these guys? I mean, he's even shocked by some of the stuff that they've tried. And I think it's gone to their heads. I think that it has just really gone to their heads, and they are looking past the trial and the case. And, they're looking for the book deal and the movie rights and, and all of that, and being able to, I mean, just stop and think about the books that'll be written after this case is over and done with about the Odinist that committed this crime that got away with it. Just for that, you guys, remember that, because it's going to happen. If I was if I was charged with a crime, I would want defense attorneys that were willing to go to the mat for me and fight for me. We all deserve that. We're all afforded that by the Constitution, that we have a defense that's going to work for us. And so I'm okay with that. And I know that they're doing their job, but I think that they have gone way, way over the line. She is one heck of a confident judge. She is on the short list for the Supreme Court in the state of Indiana for a reason. Whether people believe it or not, judges are not just, they don't just grab any judge to stick on the Supreme Court. That is something that you have to work towards. And so, she has proven herself She knows the law, which I think is interesting because this defense team is notorious for trying to teach her the law or quote the law to her. She doesn't need that. Frank and I have had so many conversations about that, about how these attorneys are constantly trying to tell her what the law is, you know? There are a lot of people surrounding this case that are going to be very easily um, handed cash and said, let's, will you talk? Will you tell us what you know? Um, there's going to be YouTubers that are going to be like, well, I knew this, 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 and this. And yeah, it's, again, this isn't about us. This is not about us. This is about Abby and Libby and about justice for them. This is not a game. This is not a fictional movie or a fictional book. Um, wow, Laura, that's interesting. Laura says that she was around some people in the legal field around the time of the Supreme Court of Indiana situation, and they were appalled and kept saying that the defense attorneys clearly had something to hide. That was shocking. Um, I, I think that um, most people who are in the legal profession that are ethical people don't believe what's being put out there or put forth about Fran Gull. Again, if you look at the attorneys that were placed on the case, Luttrell and those before, while Baldwin and Rosie were off the case, they practiced before her in Allen County, and they had nothing but good things to say about her. There are some YouTubers, Laura, out there that are very good at manipulation. We've all been manipulated around this case. If you are in this case long enough and follow it closely enough, you're going to be manipulated. Tech Death and I had a long conversation today about this community and a lot of what's gone on in this community since the inception of this case. And, my my feeling is that there are people who have jumped on this case for all the wrong reasons. They don't care about Abby and Libby. They don't care about justice. They are into drama, and this is a drama-filled community, and so they live off of that. So I think that one of the things that's going to be I I love this. The biggest mistake Judge Gull made was not letting those two bozos not try this case pro bono. It'll be interesting. Some have mentioned these shady attorneys being brought up to the Indiana bar. Will it happen? Trust me, this case is being looked at by the Indiana bar. It's being looked at by the Supreme Court. They're watching everything that happens in this case. Trust me, you guys, they are. This is huge. This is one of the largest notorious cases in Indiana's history. The other night on Frank's channel, people wanted to know whether or not any of the state police would be at the trial. I can guarantee you Doug Carter is going to be there. They're absolutely going to be there. If they don't have something else going on work-wise, they will be there. Um, you know, my biggest thing in this community has always been, why would anyone why would anyone want to defend or give money to someone who's been accused of this kind of a crime? We know that these kinds of crimes are not willy-nilly. They don't just pin them on anybody. They just don't, you guys. This is huge. These are children that we are talking about. These are little kids that we're talking about. And they don't just go out there and pin these kinds of crimes on anybody. And so I've never been able to wrap my head around anyone who's willing to do that. I've been following Madeline Soto's case really closely, and it is so disturbing and gut-wrenching, and I'm seriously sickened by her mother. But at the same time, I look at Stephen Stearns and I'm like, what if people were out there raising money for him? And what if people were out there sending money to his defense attorneys? What if people were out there claiming that he's been set up? What's the difference? It's the same thing, you guys. And it's the same thing if it had been Kagan Klein. If we were sitting here talking about Keegan Klein and people sending him money and trying to get him off and saying that he had been railroaded and that he had been all of these things, is it really, you guys? Really? I mean, it's, what happened to Madeline Soto is beyond, it's just beyond. I mean, that poor child had been abused for years by someone close to her, right under her mother's nose. And this person has all of this evidence on their phone. And law enforcement goes to her mother, shows them a video of her daughter and her boyfriend, this man, engaged in a sexual act. And she still is telling this man, you might want to get an attorney. So when you watch stuff like this and you see this kind of interaction happening, it's real easy to see why people react the way they do in certain cases, I think, well, you're not going to hear from some of these people the closer we get to trial, because they're not going to have anything good to talk about. While we weren't at trial and why we weren't there, they really thought that they could push that narrative of Richard Allen's innocence. And now that they're getting closer, they realize that, I keep getting told by certain people, whether it be in posts or emails, Kristen, you are so biased in this case. You are so pro prosecution. I am pro justice for Abby and Libby. And I have a man in front of me who has given 61 confessions of things that only the killer might know. Are you kidding me? What? I'm like, what the heck, you guys? It's not rocket science. It's not. I can't get past that. Um, I feel so sorry for her, Enoch. I really, really do. Um, she had told her close friends that when she turned 13 years old, she wanted to go live in the woods. What does that tell you? She wanted to go live in the woods. She wanted to get the heck away from what was happening to her. It's just, but yeah, I'm like, thanks, Jinx. I'm like, they don't, you can say it as loud as you want, but it doesn't soak in up here. Oh, absolutely. I feel Jen Soto needs to be charged in this case. And the more I watch and the more I listen to the interrogation that they did of her and everything, I'm like, this woman is it really does cause me to have pause to wonder if Maddie was pregnant. It really, really does, if that's what happened here. So, but yeah, I just, we're gonna have to continue to deal with this for a while, you guys, with Delphi. There are going to be people out there that continue to push the narrative of his innocence. And I just, like I said, I just feel like, I don't know, something about it tells me that even once he is convicted, which again, I do believe he will be, that they're not going to go away. And exactly, Lynn, exactly. They cannot charge her unless there's evidence to support it. And I believe law enforcement thinks so. I believe that law enforcement is not happy with her. I believe that they firmly believe she knows more than she's saying, but they have to have evidence to prove that. You can't just do it's Doug Carter again. It's not about what we believe or what we think. It's what can we prove. And a lot of times with children, they seal their autopsies. I was very surprised that they actually put John Bonet's autopsy out on the internet. But, what person in their right mind allows their daughter to sleep with their boyfriend alone in another room in another bed? Who allows that, guys? And I think that that's a possibility that she could have gotten pregnant, and it's just a possibility. But that case is maddening to me, and like I said, it's you look at some of these cases and you look at what we're, just like the whole situation in Idaho, and we're looking, we're looking at that case as well, and we're looking at the Lisk case, the Long Island serial killer. There's just so many different aspects of these cases that the correlation between them in certain aspects is really funny to me, because I really think that the change of venue in Idaho, I saw that coming. I know a lot of people didn't think that it should happen, but there was no way they were going to allow that trial to stay in that town. They just weren't going to do it. It wasn't going to happen. I mean, it's a death penalty case. This guy, his life is on the line, and they are going to make sure that they cross all their T's and dot all their I's. If they'd have kept that in that town, I think that would have been a reason for him to appeal. Yeah, I saw that she had pregnancy tests in the bathroom. Yeah, I watched that interview, John, as well. It makes you, again, not trying to throw family under the bus in any of these cases. It's not who I am. I try not to do that. But we all know that people like this can fly under the radar, and they can live under the radar and commit these crimes for years and years and years against children, and nobody knows. My feeling is that this was happening right under her mother's nose, and she was basically condoning it because she was sending her off to sleep with this man. And I just can't imagine how she didn't suspect that something was going on. If she had any kind of a relationship with her daughter, my God, how would you not know? But anyway, it is interesting that she had pregnancy tests in the house. Were those pregnancy tests for herself? It's just crazy. I definitely believe that there's more to that case than yet that we know. I think more is gonna, yeah, I know. So who were the tests for, and why were they there? I don't know. But that case, like I said, really does bother me. Um, Again, guys, don't forget the prayer walk, October 13th at 1:30 p.m. at the old 1600 Old Camden Road there in Delphi. That's at the Freedom Bridge parking area is where they meet. Randy always does a fantastic job at organizing these, and the last one was absolutely wonderful. We had the best weather. I know Frank said that he looked and the weather looks like it might be rainy in the morning, but yeah, Cecil, exactly. What was going on with her clothes? How did she know? How did the mom not see this happening? Um, Randy, like I said, always does a really bang up job. And Frank Meister is going to go live from the trail that day, so be on the lookout for that. So yeah, that'll be a wonderful thing. And I really am sorry that I'm going to miss it. I was really hoping that I'd be able to go to this one, but my grandson's 7th birthday is that day. And Jackson would be very, very upset with me if I was not at his birthday party. So I will definitely be there. Hey, Mel, how are you? I caught a bit of your live the other night, Mel. You are always doing great work. I so respect you, lady. You are such an awesome YouTuber. Maddie's case has showed me that there is a need to understand the personality types that may be more susceptible to the Stevens of the world. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. Again, a lot of times these, and I've said this before to people when I always warn women or whatever, if you're a single mom with children, be careful who you bring around your kids. And I know that you can't always know or see things ahead of time, but I'm absolutely serious. You have to be careful at who you're bringing around your children. if it was me and I was a single mom and I was out there trying to date or have relationships, I would be very, very leery about bringing people into my life and around my kids. And I know that seems to be kind of, well, how do you have a life then? But you're constantly hearing about single moms who bring these men into their children's lives and they end up unliving them. And it's sad, it really is sad. Oh, Nana, that's awesome. I'm glad. I'm so glad that you're going to be able to be there. I wish I could be there. I really, really, truly do. Um, Not only that, but like I said, I'm going to be helping take care of my friend who's having the double mastectomy. So, she'll be just a week out from her surgery. So just a few days actually. So I really truly need to be here to help her. I definitely believe that there will be justice for Maddie. I think he's never gonna see the light of day, and I do believe they'll give him the death penalty. I wish I could meet you. I really do. We will meet. There will be a day. Hopefully I'll be at the next memorial walk. So I would really, truly love that. One of the fun things about the walk is that after the walk, we always get together and go eat together, and that is always so fun. And Tech Death brought something up today when I was talking to him on the phone. I always have such wonderful conversations with him. He's like a son to me. But anyway, we were talking about how the legacy of Abby and Libby is how many people they have brought together that otherwise would never have known one another. Look at all of the people that they have brought together. And that, to me, that is huge, because it's the truth. Oh, Heather, I wish you could too. And I get it. Being so far away, it's not an easy thing to get to Delphi. But if you ever do get a chance, make sure that you go, But yeah, it is wild, Tech Death. It's wild, the number of people that have become people in my life that will be part of my life forever. There's only a handful that I truly have that relationship with, where I feel that. But man, I've met some of the most amazing people in this community. And it's sad that it had to happen because of what happened to Abby and Libby, but it is a legacy. Jinxie baby, I love it. Oh, cool. That's awesome, Heather. Laura says, brought so many people together who learned so many law terms that we never wanted to know. And together we can make sure this doesn't happen to families again. It's sad to think that what the families have had to go through, and that, they're here, it's coming, and you can imagine that they're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. In all of this, my heart, I pray so heavenly hard for Becky and Mike and Tara and and Kelsey and all of them. And Kelsey's pregnant again. And it's just like the stress of what that poor girl has had to go through because of social media's hatred is beyond me. And stress is not good on a pregnancy. It is just not. Hey, GonZo. How are you, my dear? How are you? Yeah, we did know it was coming. I knew it was coming for sure. Oh, it's so good to see you. I've missed you. GonZo is another one. He is one of those people that I feel that was brought to me because of this case, and he and I have a connection that will never go away. He is one of the good ones, and he does so much work behind the scenes on cases, you guys. And he's he's like a son to me as well, and I just adore him. He's just one of the good ones. And hey, Witchcraft, how are you? I love your name. Never late, never late. But a lot of people have been brought together by this, and by this case. And I think of meeting Steve from True Crime Web. Wow, what an honor that was. What a great human being he is. And I still haven't met Ruckus, but I'm gonna. I promise you that. I am going to meet that man. He is another one of the good ones. Big Mateo Funland. Do you think the defense wants to play up the terrain with the jury, saying how could one person carry the girls through this? Absolutely. I don't think that anybody carried the girls. I don't even think Bridge Guy did this, or Richard Allen. I do believe he drug Libby by her arm through, as they've described. But yes, I definitely believe that they want to play up, most definitely, how the terrain, how one person couldn't do this. Ruckus is I just miss his sweet face. I hope he's feeling well. I haven't talked to him for a while. I need to reach out to him and make sure he's okay. I've been kind of busy with my crazy Loki. And him and I have been diligently working on all the things and the training, and it's just, I've had a lot going on. But yeah, I stop and think about, Tech Death and I were talking today when we were on the phone about some of the people in the Delphi community and how people have changed. And my friend, my mind just kind of went, why did my mind go blank? I think that there's a lot of people that have grown. I've watched their channels grow. I've watched them grow as a human being. I've watched them become better people, because Loki is he is 68% Siberian Husky and 24% Labrador Retriever. He has the Labrador Retriever coat, which I'm very thankful for, because he, since I put him on a raw diet and he's eating very well, his coat, he stopped shedding. He doesn't shed very little at all. So I'm really happy about that. But yeah, so he has a shorter coat, and hang on a second. Let me see if I can find this picture for you guys. Hold on a minute. That was kind of crazy. Boy, CJK, that's true. A lot of people have made this personal and have made this case about them. And made this case about them, their POI. Like I said, I've done many lives with Captain from True Crime Garage, and the Captain and I talked at length about this, but we don't understand why people are willing to die on a hill in a case for who they think did it. You have to follow the evidence. You absolutely have to follow the evidence. And if you're not willing to do that, then why be in this genre at all? Right? I don't know. And Chris McDonough is amazing. I really do like him. Really smart man. Very, very smart man. We go back to evidence. You have to have the evidence that you can prove in a court of law. And there are cases out there that are heartbreaking, because I'm just going to bring up, since GonZo's here, I'm going to bring up Suzanne Morphew. Suzanne's case is heartbreaking to me. I hope beyond hope that she gets justice for what happened to her, because I firmly believe that justice needs to happen in that case. And again, what can they prove? For those of us who think it's obvious that Richard Allen is guilty, there are just as many people out there that think that it's very obvious that he isn't. So oh, you're doing farm dog, huh? Cold Truth. Well, I make Loki's food. In fact, my husband laughs. He says I cook better for the dog than I do for him. But I try to give him Instinct makes a frozen fresh. I mean, it's fresh, but it's frozen. It's not freeze dried. They do have freeze dried food, but I use their frozen food, where you buy it and then you can take it and thaw it out. And it's beef hearts, beef liver. There's no fillers. There's no colors. There's all of that. And I use that for Loki. And then I add eggs. I make him scrambled eggs, and sometimes I give him 25 grams of protein Greek yogurt. Other times I give him cottage cheese. He loves broccoli, so I put broccoli in his food. He gets a couple of different supplements for his skin, his coat, and I just do all kinds of stuff for him. Abby and Libby have a way of sneaking into your heart. Those two girls, when you really sit down with their family members, and I had the pleasure of meeting Becky back in April when I went to the memorial walk, and I spent about 2 hours with her alone, just her and I, talking about the girls, talking about the case, talking about the what had happened to them and everything. And when you really get to talking about them and who they were, what they loved, what their dreams were, it's so easy to fall in love with them. They weren't perfect children. No children are, but they were doggone close. I mean, they had hearts that were unbelievably large. They wanted to help others. Libby was all about making other people feel better about themselves. Even her friends would talk about how she was that way. Libby would, her whole um being able to leave the sticky notes for people, whether it be teachers or friends or family members or whatever. That's who she was. She wanted people to know that they were good, and she was always trying to uplift them. She would come home from school and jump into the kitchen and make cookies for everyone. So, I I think that you're absolutely right, Heather. I think that there is a lot more evidence that we have not seen, and I think once it's all put together, we're going to totally understand things so much better. Um, oh, I was just looking to see what the dog food was that they were talking about. I know you're always there. It's what I love about you. I love watching your bridge diving videos, by the way, Gonzo. They scare the hell out of me because I don't want anything to happen to you, but man, I love that you're loving life. I love that you're living life and loving life. It's great. Um, yeah, cold truth, I get it. But my feeling is that you can either spend the money on the front end or you're going to spend it on the back end. If you give your dog kibble that is this dried, wheat, full of fillers and full of crap and dyes and all this other stuff, and it's dry. I mean, dogs are carnivores. These guys love meat. Meat, you guys, not dry dog food, meat. And if you're giving them the dry dog food, you're going to pay for it with their health, and you're going to pay for it when you go to the vet. So either you pay for their food and you give them a little bit more on the front end, and then you have less vet bills. That's kind of how I feel about it. And I like to give them the best possible life, and longevity of their life. And now that I'm as healthy as I am and nutrition has become such a huge part of myself, there was no way I could feed him crap. I had to give him uh a good diet and stuff. Um I like looking at the videos, Enoch, um of Libby and Abby. When they were doing the Musically stuff back when it was Musically and not, what's the name of the app now? Because I'm not on there. Um, Come on, guys, help me out. What is it? What's the name of it? Um, they did all kinds of stuff. They're singing and dancing, and they both loved music so, so much. And I don't know. I just like to see her smiling face. It's one reason why I played my Delphi um, video for you tonight, was because they were on my mind today. As we get closer to trial, they're always on my mind. And I'm thinking about them all the time, and the fact that I'm sorry that it's taken this long. Libby did everything in her power that day to try to help us. Law enforcement officers will tell you very rarely do you get really good evidence in this type of a crime. And we've got great evidence. Not only do we have his voice, we have him on video. We have him moving on video. We have his voice on video. I mean, not Snapchat, Lynn. What is the one you guys? I'm thinking I'm trying to find my phone and I think it's on the charger. Why can't I begins with a T? What's the name of that app, you guys? Why can't I think of it? TikTok. Good Lord. See, sometimes TikTok used to be Musically, I think. So, but yeah. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, the corn and the, all the grain. They shouldn't be eating grain, you know. Um, Gonzo is absolutely right. People have absolutely evolved in this case. People have grown. We've come together for the girls and matured in this community. We have. Tech Death and I were talking today. I feel like my community that I built here behind the crime door is one of the best things ever because I have such respectful people that come and join me for my lives. They are so respectful of each other, so kind, so caring. They always bring the best conversation. Frank Meister has the same on his channel. We have a lot of the same people in our chats, but it's like, you know, we've seen a lot. And Sleuth Intuition, Sleuth has grown into a really great channel. Sleuth, I don't always agree with Sleuth, and I don't always agree with the things sometimes that he says, but he has built a really nice community, and absolutely I've seen him grow as a person because of this case. And so that's kind of how I feel about him. I think that the girls are looking down on all of us and wanting everyone to be able to have some sort of healing take place. I hope and pray that there will be some healing once this is all over for Abby and Libby's families, to the point that they can move forward in their grief. They never move past, and you never get over, and you never forget, but they'll be able to move on. It's almost like they've been in a standstill in this grief mode because of the trial and what they've had to go through. So, my husband has to wait. The dog comes first. I feed him before I feed us. That's just the way it is. Uh So, and the only thing I cook for Loki, honestly, is his eggs. I don't give him raw eggs, so his eggs get scrambled, and then I scramble his eggs, and then I mix everything else in there together. It almost looks like slop. By the time I'm done, it looks like something you would give the pigs, but he loves it, and that's all that matters. Tech Death says his pigs eat first. Of course they do. I know. And Gonzo, I know. And I pray that it happens for her, because I think about her often as well, and what happened to her. And I know how closely this case matters to you and how much you've worked so diligently for justice for her. And I pray that it's coming. I also want to remind everybody, if you are burnt out to some degree with all the drama around Delphi, please, please, please give your support to Drew for the Evansdale case, because, Steve, True Crime Web, and Ruckus are still working diligently on that case. And I guarantee you, we are going to end up with justice in that case. I firmly believe it. Um, I just believe it. So, um, I was just reading. Yeah, Layla, that's interesting, with the flat tire situation, because had he not had that flat tire that day and got seen on that road, stop and think about that. I mean, there was a lot of stuff, but yeah, wow. You know, karma is a bitch, you guys. Karma is real, and karma is, yeah. And we just have, like I said, we just have to keep watching. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I know that they are still investigating Madeline Soto. They are still there. We don't know what may transpire there, but that case angers me. It definitely angers me. Um, Sebastian Rogers is another case that is just heartbreaking to me, because I have a grandson who is autistic. Whenever bad things happen to autistic kids, it hits home to me. And the fact that he was autistic is another red flag to me as to what happened to him. He didn't just disappear, you guys. Something happened to him, and somebody close to him knows. And I just firmly believe that. He didn't just wander off. I don't believe that. Hey, Carrie, how are you? Um, oh, you are so sweet. You are so sweet. Oh, they are our kids. And it is, um, it's important that we give them good nutrition. It is really important. Um, so there are a lot of things that are going to be happening, you guys, in the next few weeks in this case. So just keep your eyes and ears open. If there's any motions or anything that drops, I guarantee you Frank Meister will be on it, and we will know about that. Also, um, if you guys have anything that any case or anything that you're really wanting me to talk about specifically, drop it in the comments below this live. Let me know what you guys are thinking, what cases that are out there. I do believe, because of what's been going on and how I've been I'm almost considering starting to cover the P. Diddy mess, because I think that it's going to get huge and there's going to be a lot of fallout from that. Um, haven't completely decided yet, but I'm really kind of thinking that I might, just a little bit to cover what's going on there. Um, I've said for a long time that my daughter and I both have followed him for a while because of Tupac, and I believe wholeheartedly that he was behind that. That's just me. Um, and here we are. Will he end up going to prison for life because of everything that they have on him? It's mind-boggling what is going on out there. But yeah, I pray that we find out what happened to Sebastian Rogers. And this whole thing with P. Diddy is there are going to be some big names that come out in this, you guys. It's going to be quite interesting. But yeah, I'm glad that everybody came out tonight to spend time with me. I really appreciate you all so very much. If you haven't had a chance to check out the Twisted Hippie, make sure you jump over and check out my other channel that I started. I had a lot of people asking me to talk about other things, and so I was like, that's why I decided to do the other channel. It's been kind of fun, and to do it. And I like to be able to talk about other things than just true crime all the time. So that's been kind of nice. I'm going to be doing a video over there this week on the spiders. So those of you that are all questioning and asking me all the time about my spiders, they will be featured on that channel. And I will be talking about that, which is another reason, CJK, you know, this whole thing with what happened to Epstein, or Epstein, whatever, you know, the whole thing with him dying in jail. Again, that is why it's important to keep these people safe, you know, until trial, right? And which is something that they were trying to do with Richard Allen, obviously. So here we are, you know, it looks like it's going to happen. But yeah, everybody have a good week. You know, stay safe. If you get a chance, pay it forward. Do something kind for someone else. You don't know how uplifting it is to be able to give back to others. I feel a real sense of accomplishment when I'm able to help other people. And any chance that I ever have to do that, I'm always there for. So make sure that you guys do that. And make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button on your way out. Thank you so very much, everybody, for being here tonight. I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful evening. Good night, everybody.